to another live stream. Let me just check that you can hear me. Yes, so that's good. Right. So another live stream. Today is May 5th, and we have some results to discuss. We are going to discuss the start of the Carl's Capital Climbing Club that started quite horrifically with a major drawdown, and we're going to dive into that. And if you have any questions during this live stream, just type it in the chat and I will get to it as soon as possible. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitter, X, and on TikTok. All right, so hope you all are well. I know there are a couple of viewers that are attending the Capital Climbing Club, and we have a few questions to discuss there. As the drawdown has surpassed the max drawdown that many of you had decided before starting the program, you might ask yourself, what should I do now? Should I continue? Should I just stop the algos and keep whatever I have left in terms of equity, or should I proceed like nothing has happened? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what I'm doing myself in regards to that. All right, the results of April. Let's pull that up. So in the bottom of the screen, you should see the individual results of all algos. And on the right side of the screen, you see our results page. This results page is containing all information about the results of all algos. You can see the individual results of each algo, and you can see the total equity. You can see the max drawdown. You can compare it to a Nasdaq buy and hold strategy. And you can see the top 10 performing algos and so on. So, April, we experienced a loss of 5,535 euros. No, 5,355 euros. So that is with the minimum position size. The minimum position size is the position size you can find further down on the results page in this column here. So with these position sizes, the results of April was minus 5,355 euros. And that is running all 29 algos. The biggest losers this month were, as you can see in the bottom of the screen, primarily the US 100 algos and secondarily the SP 500 algos. The algos that actually made money this month were primarily DAX algos. The top one algo this month was the Prime DAX M2. Second place was CATS Gold H1, and I can actually pull that up also. The third algo was Prime DAX M3, and the fourth best algo was CATS DAX M3, and the fifth best algo was the algo trading the USD yen currency pair. But yeah, that's a small comfort. They made approximately, what is that, like 900 euros or something like that. So in comparison to the loss of 5,355 euros, it doesn't provide much comfort. But I think we should put this in perspective of the last 6 months of gains. So the previous 6 months we have made a gain of 19,834 euros. That is until April 1st. And in April 1st we lost 5,355 euros. So that means that we have approximately lost 1/4 of the total gain that we made in the 5 months preceding April. So in that perspective, the loss isn't that big. One of the reasons, if you look into the results equity line here, you can see that in the start of ProRealAlgos back in November 2019, the results were small. The gains were small, and the losses were small. The volatility was significantly less than what it is today. You can see that the average results, the average gain is approximately 2 or 3 times what they were back in 2019. And there are, I would say, 2 major reasons for that. The first one is the fact that we are running twice as many algos now as we did back in 2021. If we look back even further, back to 2019, we started with 5 algos. So as we have increased the number of algos as time has gone by, we have in that way increased the risk and the position sizes and the number of contracts used. So that's the reason that you are seeing bigger gains, but also bigger losses in the later parts of this equity line. The second reason is the fact that most of these markets, most of these indexes that we are running our algos on are on a higher level today than they were back in 2019. So when you buy one contract in a CFD account, 1 point means that you have 1 point change in the market means that you have gained €1. As DAX is now significantly higher than it was back in 2019, gain of, let's say, 1% means a lot more in nominal values today than what it did back in 2019 or even before that. So that's the 2 reasons that you are seeing higher volatility. With that said, I know that many of our clients started our algos now on April 1st in connection with the Capital Climbing Club, and I'm very, let's say, distressed that we had such bad luck. We couldn't, looking into the actual peak, the all-time high in April actually happened on the night from March 31st until April 1st. So we started it on the exact day of all-time high. So we had the worst possible luck in the start. So I'm very, very distressed about that, and I know many of our clients have experienced quite significant losses. And the next question might be, or the next question I would like to discuss is what to do now. And there are a few different ways to think about it, but let me first see if we have any questions. Right, where are the chat? Right, I don't think we have any questions, or do we? I don't think we do. So I will just proceed then. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will look into them. And if you want me to discuss anything specific in these live streams, let's say you would like to code along with me, coding an algo or discussing whatever, I would appreciate if you just sent me a email before the next live stream, which will be in June. Yeah, so we got a question. Be out of noise. Happy to see you here again. Drawdown month also a result of company earnings. More bad earnings can be a sign of slowing down the economy and markets for coming months. Yeah, so that's what happened. The economy is slowing down. Sweden is, I think, by definition, in a recession now. I know other countries as well have some economic, let's say, challenges. And our algos do prefer a strong bull period, a strong economy, and a general high risk appetite. That's what most of our algos prefer. They do their best gains in the months where the markets are rising. But our algos are also handling bear periods well, periods where the markets are going down. What the problem has been in April, and what our algos usually have problem with, is the months where the trend shifts. So when the market goes from a bull to a bear, or from a bear to a bull period, that's the months where we have identified that our algos perform worst. So that's what we have seen in April. If we would see a continuous negative markets going into a bear period, I would expect our algos to generate returns in that bear period. So it's actually it should not be a problem if the trend is clear, but as mentioned, our algos do like a strong economy, a strong market, and a generally high risk appetite. Yeah, perhaps we could look into some results, some detailed results, and then I will get into the Capital Accounting Club and what you should do. I can't give you any personal recommendations. I'm going to tell you what I do and discuss a little bit about that. But let's look into the results. I always like to look into the results of each individual algo. I like to see which algo has performed best in the latest period, and so on. So I would suggest that each and every one of you go to our results page. That is where you will find all those details. Okay, I could. Okay, I disappeared now. I guess you will have to do without me. Or there you go. Yes. So let's zoom in about one more step. All right. So April, what happened is that we had a drawdown that was actually a little bit higher, a little bit bigger than our max historic drawdown previously. So this drawdown here in April was actually, I think, around 140 euros or something like that, bigger than the max historical drawdown that we had previously, which was in August last year down to November last year. if we are looking into a equity curve where we are reinvesting profits, 5% position size increase per month, you will see an even bigger volatility increase in the later parts of this equity curve, because the position size is approximately 4 or 5 times bigger here in April than they were in the start of November 2019. You can also set your own preferred risk settings and find out what those risk settings would have what would have meant in total gain and in max drawdown historically. If you would be interested in knowing which algos have performed best, you can scroll down to these 2 columns here. We have on the left side a column showing us the top 10 algos per month, meaning the algo that has the highest average gain per month since they were released. On the top 3 algos here we have Prime DAX M15, CATS DAX M15 and CATS SP500 M10. So these were quite newly released, and that is usually what we see here. When we release an algo, if they have a few good months at start, you will probably see them up in the higher parts of the top 10 algos per month. What is interesting to look at is that we have a few algos that have been active since November 2019. Those are the Prime US 100 M30 and the Prime US 100 M2 and the Prime DAX M3. So those 3 algos have been running for what is it now? 4.5 years, right? 5.5 years, right? It's okay. So 5.5 years, and yeah, they have made approximately 110 euros per month with minimum or default position size. On the right side here, you can see the total results of each algos, and in contrast to the left pane, on the right pane you'll see primarily algos that have been active for a long period of time, as they have had a lot more time to actually return gains. Yeah, I guess that's that. Guess I don't think we have any other questions. So we could look into the Capital Climb Club. So for you who don't know what that is, it's a club dedicated to increase the wealth of all participants by running the algos from ProRealAlgos. We are only running our algos. We're not doing any manual trading. We are only our goal is only to use the algos and have that income returned passively for us. So we started on April 1st. As I mentioned, we had the worst possible luck starting the algos on the actual peak of our equity curve of our results. So what happened for me, I started the club myself. I'm joining the club as well, and I'm participating myself. I added 250,000 Swedish krona, which is approximately 25,000 euros, and in addition to all other accounts that I have running these algos. What happened in the first month was that I lost approximately 40% of that, 42% or something like that, which is equivalent to a gain of a loss of 10,601 euros. And if we look at the detailed results of that last month, here we go. There we go. So yeah, 10,742 euros. We have out of the 5 weeks of April, only 1 week was positive. The last week of April were only 2 days, so we might not think of that too much. So we made a total of 107 trades. We had a win rate of 44%, risk reward ratio of 0.47. The total losses were 17,325 euros. The total gains were only 6,583 euros. If we were to look at a daily chart, you can see that we had a slowing down of this drawdown already in the beginning of April. So the first 2 weeks were the actually worst 2 weeks, and then the drawdown slowed down. Then we had a few days of gains, and then we ended with loss. Anyway, we have a total latent gain of approximately 2,500 euros. That is with the position sizes that I'm running. So I started the club with my participation in this club with 25,000 euros, and I was accepting a max drawdown of 33%, and that gave me these position sizes. So that is approximately 61% bigger position size than the minimum or default position size that you can see further down on this webpage. So I was only accepting a drawdown of 33%, but now I have endured a drawdown of 43% or something like that. And what am I doing? I can't give you any personal recommendations, but what I'm doing is that I'm not doing anything. I'm keeping all algos running. Actually, I'm going to start some of the algos that were stopped due to insufficient funds. So that is the first thing I will do. But then I will start, I will just keep running this account with the same position sizes. I'm not doing any changes, but I would like to clarify here is that you should actually be true to what max drawdown you actually set. That is my general rule of thumb, that you should not change your rules as the equity of the account changes. But I am doing an exception here. I am going to allow this 44% drawdown, and that is a bit higher than the drawdown that I was willing to accept, but it's not too much, and I would like to give the account a chance and the algos a chance to make up for those losses. With that 2,500 euro latent gains, I think the drawdown is not more than let me give you the exact stats now. So the equity of the account now is 14,858 euros plus a latent gain of 2,512 euros, and that makes the account equity sets the account equity at 17,370 euros, which means that the drawdown is 31% with the latent gains included. Had the total equity of this account with latent gains been below 33%, which was the setting that I set when I started this challenge, I would have not continued it. So that's the reason that I'm actually continuing it, that with the latent gains, I'm actually below the max drawdown that I was willing to accept when I started on April 1st. Yeah, so it's an exception. I would not usually include latent gains in this calculation, but I am doing an exception for myself this time. And you would have to decide for yourself how you would like to proceed, but this is how I'm acting. So I'm actually going to start up the algos now that were stopped. I can do that while you are here. Here we go. So 3 algos were stopped. One was because of insufficient funds. The second one also because of insufficient funds. The third one was due to a stop order was placed below the minimum distance required by a broker. I have to investigate why that was, and we have a fourth one as well, I see, and that was because of insufficient funds. So I'm starting up these 4 algos again with the position sizes that I set initially back in April 1st. So starting them all up, I know by heart or by memory that the position size were 1.61 for US Tech algos and DAX algos. So I'm setting 2 contracts here, and then I'm checking readjustable stops on all 4 systems. All right, so that's it. Now we have 26 algos running. There are 3 algos not running. The reasons for that is that we have decided, or I have decided, to not run the gold algos due to tax reasons on commodities in Sweden. It's not very beneficial to run algos running on commodities. So that's why I stopped that. That's why I have not decided not to run those algos. The third algo that I've decided not to run, let me try to remember which one that was. It's in the K algo, right? Yes. So I'm not running the PRA plus Nikkei M5 algo because the minimum position size allowed by IG in Sweden is too high. So if I were to run it with the minimum position size, I would actually have an unproportionately big position size on that specific algo. So I'm not running it until the equity of the account increases. All right, so do we have any questions? I don't think we do. So I guess perhaps that's it. We have been live for 30 minutes. And yeah, maybe we should end early today. The next live stream will be on June 2nd. So this live stream is live on the first Sunday every month at 7 p.m. So on June 2nd, if you want me to look into something specific, to discuss something specific, please send me an email the week before that, and I will prepare for that. Yeah, I think that's it. And thank you guys for watching, and we will talk again soon. Yeah, right. So see you. Bye.